All right. Welcome, everyone. I hope you've had a good semester so far. I realize it's still pretty early, but I just want to make sure everybody's doing okay. We are at the start of today. Well, I guess I'm recording this later, but when you're watching this on today, hopefully Tuesday, September 14th, we are officially starting Unit 2 on the persecution. And this unit runs from September 14th to September 27th. Your objectives here are to articulate the specifics surrounding Paul's persecution toward the Christian church, including his motivations and the relevant scriptures. Develop an appreciation for religious zeal while being able to explain the difference between the life-giving and life-taking zeal. Be able to explain the relationship between Paul's experience and actions in light of God's grace and mercy for others. This is in your discussion as well as the previous point. And articulate and evaluate one's own passion and zeal, which is essential, and I'll talk about a little bit later. Your readings are Acts 5:12 through 9:2, Acts 9:13 and 14, Acts 22, 3 through 5, Acts 26, 9 through 11, and Galatians 1:13 through 14. You also are going to be reading Barnett chapter 4, Bruce chapter 8, and then Why Did God Let Paul Become a Murderer by John Piper. Assignments: work on your memory verse, 1 Timothy 1:15 through 17. The week of, please make sure you reach out to me to schedule that. It is your impetus. You have to remember to schedule it. If you do not reach out to me to schedule, then you will not receive credit. Quiz 2, part 1, quiz 2, part 2, your timeline, birth to persecution, and then discussion 2 and your reflection journal entry 2. For the previous timeline, everything's been graded up to this point, except for some of the timeline pieces. The uploading on them wasn't working perfectly. What I was really looking for, as I had previously explained, was just the mode through which you're going to do it, whether that's PowerPoint or Keynote, Prezi, whatever it is, and then what it's going to look like, just how you're going to put it on there. But you have your first, from birth to persecution, you have that timeline due. Make sure you hit those points, and it needs to be substantive and well done. It should look great. My recommendation would be doing something like a PowerPoint with a voiceover, and PowerPoint has a new function where you can even turn it into a video, so you can record it and then you can do the voiceover so they activate and program them, and then that way it just kind of flows through the video for timeline of events, and it's very aesthetically pleasing and also informative and substantive if the content is present. So, and then make sure your discussion is done appropriately. Your discussion should be, your initial post should be in by September 19th at 11:59 p.m. It was not done. I said in the last video, it needs to be done by the first Sunday. Always when we have 2-week units, it needs to be done by Sunday of the first week of that unit. And then you need to respond to 2 people. You will not get full credit. I've been pretty gracious up to this point, but not from here on out. So your post needs to be done by this Sunday at 11:59, and by the following Sunday at 11:59, you should respond to 2 people. They should be substantive posts with substantive responses that generate conversation and discussion. I've responded to all of your posts up to this point. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. But I want to talk just for a minute about zeal. I spent a lot of time in college. I did 4 years in my undergraduate. I did 4 years of a postgraduate or of a graduate work, and then I did 3 years roughly of postgraduate work. We doubled up on classes, so it ended up being 3 years instead of 4. And I can say in all honesty that during my graduate school, when I was in seminary for the first time, and I'm reading and learning and growing and being stretched, being challenged, but at the same time learning, growing. One of my professors that I really resonated with became a good friend of mine. He did a lot of his doctoral studies on the life of Paul. And there was just something about the richness of it. And I love church history and I love the New Testament. And I really really grew fond of the Old Testament. But there was just something about hearing these scholars who have spent their life studying this topic, and just to see how passionate they are about the lives of the individuals in the Bible, and not in an idea, not in the form like not in an idealistic way or idolatry, not in the form of idolatry, but rather the appreciation they had for these leaders, these church fathers and biblical heroes. And Paul's life is so unique because it's not really heroic. Not to say that he's not a biblical hero, but it's almost like his life was a tragedy, and yet it was still so informative. That the suffering part of my opportunity was just to in grad school is to really learn about the suffering that he experienced, and it was true suffering. The things he went through, things that we just don't necessarily pick up in the scriptures, but when we look at the extra biblical material and unpack it, we realize truly what those prison experiences were like. It wasn't just singing kumbaya, but it was it was not ideal. And we can talk about that offline sometime. I can share my experiences and thoughts and research I've done on that. But there was an excitement, even as I've been going through this class, reading your material and engaging it. There's just this excitement and zeal for life. And so I would just encourage you to live life to the fullest. Paul lived his life all the way to the end, and he lived so fervently and gave so much that by the end of his life, literally his words, to live is Christ, but to die is gain. To live is to be Christ, and to continue to guide and model and exemplify Christ for you, but to die would be gain. I'm ready. I have run the race. I am ready. I'm ready to be done. Live your life in such a way that when you're done, you have no regrets. You know you've done all that God has commanded you to do, but you're ready. You're ready you've run the race. So lean into the relationships, lean into the training, lean into the opportunities you have right now. Allow them to inform who you are, to allow you to grow. I just want you to know I appreciate every single one of you. I love you guys and girl. I hope you have a fantastic week. I am truly looking forward to the rest of this class. I am learning and growing right alongside you, and I want you to know I truly appreciate each one of you. And I want you to have a fantastic week. Truly have a great week. FYI, next weekend, I leave on Sunday. I got to preach Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon, I leave and I'm going to a conference, and I won't be back till Tuesday evening. I won't have cell service. I'll be on the coast in kind of a little cove area in a large little housing community where we're just basically I'm going to be speaking and sharing with some youth pastors, and it's just kind of a retreat where we get away, shut off technology, kind of shut off the external world, and just kind of have a one weekend monastic retreat, sort of. So I will be out of reach, but I will check back in as soon as I get back. I appreciate each and every one of you. And once again, have a great week. Love you all.